Hello and welcome to the Paul O'Connor podcast, where we'll be talking about the motor trade, entrepreneurship, business, and beyond. Okay, internet. Is that how I address it? I was going to do a video on this, but I think it would be better in the short form of a video. We're going to do a summary of our Q1 2025. I think it's something that it wouldn't justify it just on the space of a TikTok. Because a lot of people ask how you find business, how things are going at the moment. So I'm going to give you a kind of an in-depth summary, including some financials and some numbers as to how our quarter went. We're going to base it on a few different metrics in terms of number of units sold, profitability, overall trends. I think we have some social media metrics as well. Might make for some interesting viewing. So I suppose this is your second quarter, year here, Paul. What do you think the general consensus is after Q1? Now, just for reference, this is filmed on the 31st of March. How do you feel as went as someone that's kind of been here now for just over a year?
Just on Q1 of this year?
Yeah, Q1 of this year.
We're finishing strong.
Yep. Great week last week, 17 last week, and there's a lot happening now today as well, so hopefully we'll start Q2 well.
I have high hopes for Q2.
Mm-hmm.
Q1, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed in it, but I had higher hopes.
Yeah, I think that's the same. From my point of view, it's last year was a cracking year all around, right? So you always want to kick on from that. So I suppose I'll just give you a brief summary of where we were at for Q1. In total, I think there's 140 retail cars sold in Q1, of which we'll get 131, I believe, delivered. That is down slightly on last year, I think, isn't it?
It is.
Number of units sold is decreased. This is including trade cars, decreased by 14% on last year. Our overall profit that we made, now you've it down, it decreased by 2.57%. Now there's a few late arrivals
that haven't been factored in yet.
In today. So I would say the overall profitability of what we made from selling the cars is around similar to Q1 last year. But our profit per unit has increased by 13% on last year. So although our number of units are down, which is obviously unfortunate, the overall profit per unit, which is a key metric that I've really tried to focus on this year, that is up. So that's obviously great. In terms of, I suppose, yeah, like that's the kind of the brief kind of summary in terms of
we just need to find the right balance in that now of profitability per unit,
yeah,
and selling enough units.
Exactly, yeah. No, like this month now, I said we sold 17 cars last week, which was great, and we've a couple sold today as well. But overall, we'll only deliver 40 retail units this month, which is disappointing. Now we actually only did 40 last March as well. But generally, what we aim for is 45 to 50 plus, ideally, retail units. There's obviously a few trade ones as well. Trade cars, people don't know, are ones that we sell to other garages. They're sometimes for a small profit, sometimes for the same money we took them in for. It kind of varies. So in terms of that, I suppose what we've noticed lately, even just while we're on the subject of the actual cars that we're selling, there's a few trends that we've noticed. We bring in a lot of cars from Japan. Around 50% of our car sales are actually Japanese imports. We've noticed in the last month or so, really, the cars that we were buying late last year, they're not that profitable, really.
They're not. It was kind of a mix between the purchase price and the cars themselves in Japan in the auctions had risen, along with shipping. Around the time that they were shipped, shipping really increased, and it kind of stayed steady at a high for a while. It's low again at the moment. Yeah,
it's pretty good at the moment. Yeah. So that's the thing with the Japanese import cars. You're constantly 4 months behind the procs. So by the time you buy the cars and by the time they land, there's a number of things that can change in the interim. The price of the cars when you're retailing them can drop, which it happens sometimes. The yen rate by the time you buy them, by the time you pay the 30% first of all, and the 70% total payment after being shipped, the yen rates can vary on that as well. And it just so happened towards the late last year, just the auction prices in Japan are quite high, and like you said, shipping was quite high.
Shipping was quite high as well.
Yeah, now that's after coming back down, and we've negotiated decent shipping rates for the next quarter with one of our main suppliers from over there. But that's some even just to touch on the Japanese imports. Like there's so much to think about. It's so different than buying a car. Let's say buying a car off Johnny down the road for 15 grand and throwing it up for 18 or 19. It's a big amount of work, and it's so many different costs to factor in. import duty, there's shipping, and there's so many variables as well. It's actually out of your control a lot of the time.
It is, and even I find a lot of the times, a lot of people text me, private individuals that are trying to import cars from Japan.
Yeah,
it's not something I'd recommend to do.
I wouldn't recommend it. And also so many lads message me, lads that are just selling cars by themselves, and they see me doing, like, I get them, like, I don't know how many a week. I get people, look, how do you do this, how do you do that? It's like, lads, if you're just by yourself buying and selling cars and you've a limited maybe budget for cars, buying cars direct from Japan and waiting 4 months for them to come in and all the paperwork involved in it, there's easier ways to make money than doing that. Like, you know, I said, I didn't start doing it properly until I was nearly 5 years in business. I had a good bit of money built up in the business behind me. I have a team in place at the moment. You look after it. Kanan does a bit as well. Andrea. We have a lot of people doing the kind of heavy lifting and the paperwork and things like that. Like, so again, if you're thinking about doing it, look, we do fine out of it. But it's not. If you asked me this 6 or 9 months ago, I would have said, "Oh, this is the holy grail now of car buying." Yeah. I just, it's not. No, we're still doing it. We're still doing okay from it, and I think, you know, it's peaks and troughs. Like, you know,
we started it at the right time.
We started.
Cars were cheap. Well, shipping was cheap.
The right time would have been about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
but so that's what I've definitely noticed in the last while. Now, again, I'm hoping, I suppose maybe some cars I was buying towards late last year, if in hindsight I mightn't be buying again. But I'm hoping the cars I'm buying currently will be a little bit more profitable than the ones that we're buying at the moment. So there's when we're buying cars from Japan, or we're buying cars in general, there's a couple of factors we keep in. Obviously, and just being honest with people, profitability is obviously the key consideration, but also the quality of cars as well, and how we don't want to be selling rubbish and putting our name attached to it, and we don't want to be having massive prep costs or massive warranty costs. So it has to be, I suppose, profitable on our end. It has to be reliable in terms of the prep and the warranty, and also it has to be desirable. It has to be cars that you'll actually want to buy. So you get 3 of them right at the scale of units that we need to fill the place up with.
And you need to do it 4 months in advance.
You need to do it 4 months in advance. So it's it's a tricky bit. So half the cars that we buy are in from Japan, approx. The rest of them, I think, really, especially in this quarter, we're moving a lot to the private market, aren't we?
We are. We buy a lot of cars privately. A lot of them kind of at the moment are 2017 to maybe 2019 cars, which, not the 2019 ones, but maybe some of the 2017 cars we're maybe trying to move away from. Yeah,
that's something we even had a discussion about a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, we were buying a load of 2017 A4s, 2016 A6s and all that, and yes, they were selling. But you have to remember, a lot of these 16 reg cars, like, they're just such a lottery in terms of the condition of them as well, and in terms of what the prep they need in the workshop. And it's just, I know they sell, but at what cost? Like I said, they're not new cars at all.
Most of the time you're spending 1,600 euro on prep just to have them ready, for sale. And they are good cars once they go out. You rarely see them back, but.
And I was only chatting to Richard and John, the two main lads below in the workshop, but they were even saying, like I said, look, a lot of these cars, I said, even the 2016, 2017 car, unfortunately now you just have to factor in that it is a bit of an older car. So I suppose what we're trying to do, and we've kind of started doing so in the last couple of weeks. I was not terrified, but I just said no more 40 grand plus cars. They're just not selling. We bought a few recently. We've sold a couple of them. We sold the Merc GLC 2020 Merc GLC today, actually. We have a couple of Kodiaks in stock, but we've sold a couple we sold a 48 grand BMW 520D. I'm not afraid of the slightly fresher stuff at the moment. It's a necessity. It actually is a necessity. We have to. We can't be relying on the older stuff. It's not a kind of road we're going to go down. I think that's the kind of avenue we're kind of thinking of going down.
That's the move that we're trying to do, at the moment. It doesn't make sense to be spending all this money on prep.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think it does. So I suppose that's where we're at. We continue with the Japanese import cars. There's a difference in them. We still buy 2016, 17, 18 Japanese import cars. The condition-wise versus an Irish car, it's like, it's like chalk and cheese. Like,
they just maintain them better.
Yeah, they do. Like, it's massively different. What we did recently as well, which I think is helping our sales and inquiries, especially on the nicer cars, is we redid our photo area.
Good improvement. It's very nice.
You probably would have seen it online on our website and this and that. Like, our last one with the hex lights behind it and this and that, like, yes, it looked cool, I guess, but the quality of the photos weren't great. And especially when you're selling especially a black car, because you need to really have kind of sharp images, and there was such a glare from the background of our old photos. And I think even just increasing the photo area, because online is everything, you have to have your online photos absolutely bang on, and I think that has helped move on some of the more premium brand cars, and it made us look as professional as we obviously are. But But I think that's helped. So I suppose just before I move on to kind of some of the social media stuff, that is our kind of strategy for Q2. I suppose is more the same. We'll keep doing the Japanese import cars. We're focusing on some kind of fresher cars that we're buying on the Irish market. I would like to buy a bit more from maybe Northern Ireland again. We might look into that a little bit more in the coming month or two. But it's so important to we're constantly analysing what's selling well, what's working well, what's not working well.
This could change 3 or 4 weeks from now.
I'm in business nearly 6 years, and the amount of times I've pivoted and changed, and it's live. Like, you're constantly changing, you're constantly moving, you're constantly seeing what's selling, what's not selling, and adjusting as quick as possible. Like, and I felt we wouldn't be busy unless we were super laser focused on buying in the right stock. The days of which a lot of people maybe still do, or I certainly did, the buying yokes willy-nilly, as I often use the term and phrase in the trade. Those days for us are gone. They might work for other people, but we just can't just buy whatever is there. So yeah, that is, I suppose, strategy for Q2. We will touch on the social media stuff and what's working. I suppose trends, what we're noticing as well in just the motor trade in general, prices of certain cars still staying so strong, aren't they?
Too strong, in my opinion.
So I 100% agree. And we get a lot of stick on social media. I agree. Some of the cars that we're selling, like, you know, some of like the diesel 16, 17 Reg A6s
shouldn't be worth money.
They're still going for mental money. But like the simple fact that we cannot buy these cheap, and people are still buying them at the high prices. Me and Jack Martin got a good bit of stick for our Skoda Superb Sport lines. Everyone wants those cars. You all still want the nice spec diesel cars. The VRT is high in them, therefore they're tough to import. They're commanding big money. Some cars are just not depreciating, are they? Like,
not at all.
No.
Was there a customer recently with an A6 that they'd bought 2 years ago, and they traded it back in for nearly the same money?
I think so, yeah. But
it's crazy.
This is happening the whole time. What's happening as well, you see, is people are there's certain model of cars, and certain, like a lot of people are migrating from say people that were buying higher mileage stuff. Higher mileage stuff is not desirable anymore. So if you were thinking of buying a higher mileage car, you probably got second thoughts on it now, and now you want a low mileage car. The Japanese import cars are coming into Ireland as well, and they all have low mileage. So now anything that doesn't have Jap import-esque mileage on it seems very high mileage. A lot of people have completely moved away from like Land Rovers, Mazdas, Jags, all those.
Rightfully so.
And rightfully so, right? So everyone's terrified of them. And rightfully so, don't get me wrong. You know, some of the EcoBoost Fords and everything like that. So if you were in any of those cars and now you had one and you lost a heap of money on it, for example, you're not going to want to buy those cars again. So everyone is moving towards an ever decreasing pool of cars that they want to buy.
Wanting the exact same cars.
And I've said it before, and I say it to lads at home, everyone wants the same cars. Every car trader wants the same cars. Every customer wants the same cars. You all want the nice low mileage. You still love diesels. You still love high spec. You want them in 2016 to 2019 or 20 for the most part because they're in your budget and everything like that. And that is what is pushing up the prices. So some other cars then, like I said, the higher mileage stuff has just tanked in value. Some of the less desirable brands has tanked in value as well. We found it very difficult so often now that we trade off cars. We try and get a price in the trade. There's so often now we actually cannot get a price on a car.
Which is a shame because
that used to never happen.
There's a lot of cars, I know, even personally, I wouldn't be afraid of an Audi A6, let's say if it was a 2015 one, with 210,000 kilometers on it. I wouldn't be afraid of it. As long as there was a good service history for it, it's a good car.
That's the thing though, as long as there's a good service history. Yeah. We've seen the way, you know, cars are being maintained and things like that. Like a lot of the thing is as well, like people don't want the higher mileage stuff, and traders don't want the cars needing work because there's every workshop in the country and every mechanic is absolutely flat out, and there's a backlog in getting anything done. Try and getting a panel beater to do anything, you're going to be waiting a long time, so you're not going to be wanting to buy cars needing body work. Higher mileage stuff, when you're buying it blind, which you are in the trade a lot of time off WhatsApp pictures, you're going to have to bid low because you're going to have to expect the worst. Because, and again, I've touched on it in other videos, and this isn't having a go at customers for doing it, but they're just simply not maintaining. It's just
the reality.
It's the reality. It is what it is. And I get cost of living and I get shortage mechanics, so I'm not blaming them, but I'm just saying they're just not maintaining cars. So therefore, any higher mileage or anything, I suppose that's a bit kind of risky. No one really wants to be taking a punt at it anymore. So that's definitely what we've kind of noticed recently. So tricky. Yeah. Like it's what if I had to describe the market at the moment, it's like, it's not bad. We're still tipping away, but it's a slog, isn't it? Like
it's to be as busy as we are,
yeah,
it's definitely not easy.
No, it's definitely not. It's way harder than last year. But we're we have a young team here. We're all hungry to do well, and we're putting into work. But like, you just have to like.
Yeah. As you said, you can't just buy stuff willy nilly. You have to buy the stock that will sell quickly.
And once you keep doing that, I think you'll be fine. Like, I'm pretty optimistic. I'm actually, especially last week, it's mad. I say it the whole time, like the lads, like, one good week, it's such a roller coaster of emotions, right? You're top of the world one week, we had a good week last week, so now all of a sudden, as they say in crypto market, I'm bullish for Q2.
We'll be ripping our hair out next week.
I kind of am, like, but you know what, you have to, it's like following a sports team, like, it's the hope that kills you, like,
you need to ride
you're always buzzing now for the next month. Now we're going to have a right good month, but I think it'll be fine. Sometimes uncertainty in the environment, like at the moment there's a bit of uncertainty, the world is fucked at the moment, like on a macro level, like, with the economics and the Trump, etc., all the stuff that's going on at the moment. Ireland is a bit tense and all that. So when there's a bit of uncertainty, as this happened during COVID as well, when there was uncertainty whether are we locking down or are we not locking down, things can get a bit quieter. Some lads are saying this quarter has been a bit quieter. Maybe it's the uncertainty that's in it. But overall, once there's a bit of certainty again, and once there's people are face the new reality or face the way things are or accepted things generally, kind of, I don't know, they get a bit busier again. So I think we're cautiously optimistic on it.
We are. I don't think anything terrible is going to happen.
Nah, I don't.
I hope so.
I don't think so.
Touch wood.
Paul did a few metrics here on our social media as well, and so we've 1.6 million post views since January 1st. Is that on the business page? Is it?
That's on the business page.
Yes, like on my, I probably even have more. I'd say on the personal TikTok page. 1.6 million, 29,000 profile views, 37,000 likes. Instagram, 1.1 million views, 80% from followers, remainder from non-followers. Profile visits are up. Social media is doing pretty well at the moment, isn't it? We're so lucky. People need to remember this as well. We're so lucky to be in an age where this type of reach is available to you know, and social media isn't for everyone. Some garages do it and don't do well out of it and don't need to do it. It works for us, it's a slog, and I'm always onto you, but to keep doing posts and keep doing stories, and I try to do a bit myself. But social media and word of mouth and repeat business, that is our business, like, really. That is pretty much, like, if you're just relying on getting calls off Dundee, like,
you'd be waiting.
Just, not saying anything against Dundee before someone, one of the Dundee lads rings me. Happy with Dundee? We are happy. They're grand. But it's not our main kind of driver. What would you say our best selling car is? Our most popular. What's our most desirable car to get in stock?
Well, it's an A6 Black Edition.
It is.
Always.
And that's why they're
Has that ever changed?
Nah, it's not. The old model, not the newer one. We don't do well out of the new model A6s. They're
a sack of.
Any ones we've looked at, they are not the best yoke on the road.
We have wasted so much time.
We've wasted so much time. We want to get them in stock, but every one of them they seem to have problems. Now,
it's only the A6.
The new A5s and A4s seem fine. Like, A6 Black Edition. If you're wondering why the prices of them are always so high, and like a 17 reg one is still making 25, 26, 27 grand, it's because you all want to buy them, and that's the simple fact of the matter. As long as things are popular. Tiguan's are doing quite well at the moment. We do
Orline Autos.
But that's the thing, you have to be so specific of what you buy these days as well. Like, we did, remember the last Tiguan we had in, the one we did a video of, and we couldn't sell it for love nor money, a manual trend line. Will you get 7 grand more than that for an auto R-Line? Yes. Everyone wants an auto R-Line. Skoda Superb, they'll sell, but a Sportline one will be the one everyone wants. Everyone is like migrating towards like the same type of cars, and that is, again, we've already touched on. That's why the prices are quite high. But all the ones you keep selling that are being that you see us selling, a lot of those ones are the ones that we have to keep buying over and over again. A6s, Tiguan's, we always do pretty well out of 5 Series. Any nice BMW 4 Series. What we've noticed as well is sometimes having too much of the same car in stock is a negative.
It is.
So it's sometimes you can give people too much choice, and we've too many Fits and too many Honda or Volkswagen Golf or Polo GTIs at the moment, and that can be a negative. I think that's that's kind of most of the summary of it. Like a decent quarter overall. Again, there was too much in this to do it in a TikTok video, so I think we're going to do a little bit of kind of. I hope people got a bit of insight out of that. Is business good? Business has been decent, but it's been a slog. But we drive on. All you can do is when you're in business at all, you cannot control a lot of things. You cannot force people to buy your product. You just keep focusing on what you need to do yourself. Have the best products that you have there. Keep doing all the basics right, and the business generally will come. Could the world end in 3 months' time? Sure, it could do, but not. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it. We keep plodding on. I think we're confident for Q2, and so that's been our quarterly report, as you said there.